he has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think someone should be sniffing around that if London don't get promoted, because I think he's got the quality, and now it kind of, maybe he might get one more chance at that.
Yeah.
He was very good. A couple of other players who were good. Matt Davies, he produced that offload, didn't he, for the first try from Bartow, I think it was. Or was it Bartow's? Was it the... Yeah, it must have been the first try for Bartow.
Yeah, he scored one.
Yeah. And I also was impressed with Batty and Ione off the bench.
Yeah.
And I also thought Jay Pitts still looks like he can play at this sort of intermediate bottom end of Super League, top end of Championship level very comfortably. And then Ben Helliwell, his tackling was unbelievable. So that's something to look forward to. Did we talk? Was he named in the Scotland squad? I hope he was.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
So that was. They were a few standout things.
It was the chubby lad with the top knot.
That is Eddie Batty.
Yes, I enjoy him.
I think he stands out as well because of his appearance, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So they were the sort of standouts for the Broncos, and I don't really think anyone particularly flew off the screen for the Dragons.
Well, that's what the scoreline tells you, doesn't it? A Super League side that underperforms against a Championship side that come and do a really resolute defensive job and work really, really hard for each other and get a good result, which is what it is. But they now need to kick on and use that to build confidence against the teams from the Championship and look to get a result against someone from Super League. Stats-wise then, who stood out as a
Well, it was some of the bigger overseas signing names that actually did stand out for the Dragons. So Louis Anderson with a try assist, 114 metres and 2 clean breaks. Braden Williamy with a try and 138 metres. Greg Bird with 167 metres and 3 successful offloads.
And for the Broncos then?
Ben Helliwell, as well as those tackles we mentioned, 154 metres. Sam Wilde had 54 tackles, 11 of which were marker tackles, and Matt Davies had his try assist as well as 50 tackles.
Good hard work from him. Okay, final game of the weekend then saw Hull KR, Super League 2018 team elect, taking on the Halifax Blue Sox. It finished 26 points to 22 in favour of KR, who might have been expected to do better, in front of 7,706. Refereed by, let's call him Liam Moore.
That's the one.
Hey.
The latest addition to the full-time roster. Yes. Sarah McKenzie said, maybe they didn't throw the game a fortnight ago. Rovers need to book up their ideas if they want to go up. Not sure that buying just for the middle eights is necessarily going to be a success.
Yeah, I was following this one on Twitter and kept a good eye on it and couldn't believe what I was seeing when Halifax pulled away. Obviously a phenomenal performance from them to run Hull KR this close, but it was Halifax's game right up until the last few minutes.
Yeah, well, like you, I was sort of following the games along on Twitter whilst watching the Wolfpack game, but then for the last 20 minutes I muted the TV and put on the radio commentary from BBC Humberside for the climax of this game, because I wanted to find out what was going on. At that point, obviously the whole world was falling out of the bottom of Hull KR's Twitter feed and fans and everything because it was a miserable place to be, and everyone was sacking Tim Sheens and what have you. And then player of the game Nick Scruton pops up with a try, an eminently convertible try, convertible try that meant they gave him a 4-point lead, and it just didn't allow Halifax much ability to get back into it. It was 8 minutes from the end, but Halifax, maybe their race had run at that point. I'm not sure.
I think so. I think it was a phenomenal effort to run them that close, really, when you'd expect Hull KR to perhaps stretch out a little bit. Ben Heaton with 4 tries for Halifax as well. Not really a sense of playing out on the wing. Yeah,
that's a great return for a player who, like you say, he's regarded as sort of maybe like a cutback runner, line running centre more than a finisher so much. So that's good for him. And the fact that they overcame a relatively poor start in terms of 2 tries conceded early doors, weren't they, to Kieran Moss? But Ellis couldn't convert, which is a far cry away from the Jamie Ellis that started the season for. Okay, I don't know if that's a wider reflection of things not quite being as good for them. But yeah, the goal kicking's gone astray a little bit, and that helped open a door for Ben Heaton and for Halifax, but it does sound like the Rovers forward pack were strong in the game still, despite kind of, or certainly a couple of individuals in there were strong, and their sort of professional environment give them that edge for that last 10 minutes. You've got to think.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be the difference maker. Individually, who stood out for us?
Nick Scruton with a try and 161 metres, the try and 161 metres really. Justin Carney with 10 tackle balls, 220 metres, 2 clean breaks. Ryan Shaw, I'm guessing on the other wing, was he?
Yes.
Or no, in the centre.
He'll be on the wing, I'd have thought.
Hold on.
Go on then. Give us the back line.
Oh, Kieran Moss started at full-back. Right, I'm with you now. Yeah, Ryan Shaw, 175 metres for him as well, so obviously the backs were clearing a lot of territory too. Ben Heaton, 4 tries.
There you go.
Will Sharp, 173 metres. Ryan Boyle picked himself up a ban, but 41 tackles and 11 mark tackles from Boyle bags.
There you go. Okay, so early days for the standings, but how do things look in the qualifiers?
Yeah, early days. Lee, Warrington, Hull KR and Catalan take the early advantage.
Fantastic. Okay, so predictions, Super Brew and Dream Team updates. How do things stand there?
We're both 6 out of 8, Tom. That means you retain your 4 pick lead, 112 to 108. Sorry. In the Super Roo, it's John McNally wearing the yellow cap. Ollie Smith maintains his narrow lead at the top, though. In the Dream Team, Stephen Bowie stays top. But Vicky B is starting to close the gap a little, actually, with a weekly best score of 668 this week.
Fabulous, congratulations. Okay, that is qualifiers and Super 8s taken care of. Let's take a look now at results from elsewhere in the world of rugby league. Okay, so to other results from this week then. It was round 1 of the Championship Shield mark. Batley Bulldogs were 62 points to 10 winners over the Swinton Lions. Bradford Bulls lost at home 10 points to 26 against Toulouse, a result that sees the Bradford Bulls all but officially relegated. Dewsbury were 56 points to 8 winners over the Rochdale Hornets, and Sheffield had 56 points themselves against Oldham's 16. Which means that the top 4 beat the bottom 4 this week, so the table stays as it was, with, as I mentioned, the Bulls effectively relegated as a result of their loss to table-topping Toulouse. League One's Super 8s had their second round this week. It was Barrow 14, Doncaster 10, Keighley 22, York 20, Whitehaven were 27 to 6 winners over Newcastle, and Workington went down at home 0 to 68 against the Toronto Wolfpack. So the top 3 stay in place as they were, and the chase is on for the last 2 playoff spots, with Keighley, the big winners, just outside the top 5, moving up to 6th and closing to 1 point on Doncaster ahead of them. Into the League One Shield then, and round 1 of play there saw Gloucestershire All Golds defeat the North Wales Crusaders by 40 points to 22 mark.
Yeah, Saturday stunner. Al Witt said, a great and much needed win for the All Golds. Both sides were missing players in key areas, Crusaders the bigger players. It was an error-ridden first 15. The home side always looked dangerous near the try line, scoring some nice tries. Parry is a different class when at dummy half. The game was put to bed in the final 10. Small improvements needed if we're to make the Shield final, but I'm a happy man. Come on, you All Golds.
Very good.
And Lee Randall said, a week on after a disappointed loss to South Wales, and the news that head coach Lee Greenwood is standing down at the end of the season. Yeah, we didn't touch on that in the news roundup, actually. We'll touch on that in a sec. At the end of the season, it was interesting to see how the players react after a sloppy first quarter. It wasn't looking promising. We slowly got into the game and overall deserved to win the game. Another big game against Coventry next week. Come on, you All Golds.
Speaking of Coventry, they were 29 points to 26 winners over Dewsbury B. It was Oxford 10, Hunslet 36, and the Scholars versus South Wales round 2 game is scheduled for the Cup final eve.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights.
There you go. It's interesting in the Shield final race, with the All Golds closing to within a point of the Scholars and Crusaders for the right to probably face Hunslet.
Yeah, so the Lee Greenwood news. Obviously, he's done a great job over the last couple of years with the All Golds and solidified things there. Maybe he's looking for a role again at sort of a championship level or something like that. I'm not sure, but I think he'd be a great coach to move into any of the clubs that are kind of trying to integrate a group of young players into a semi-professional kind of outfit, like the Bradford Bulls, maybe.
Possibly so. Well, now Tuvi's holding another investigation into whether or not the league structure will be altered before he makes any decisions. I just fucking don't care anymore. NRL though, Mark, we do care about that. It was round 22 of regular season play. Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs defeated 4 points to 20 by the Parramatta Eels.
Yeah, James Graham, 126 metres despite being on the losing end of the upstart Eels. A surprise package maybe now.
Very much so. It was the St George Illawarra Dragons 24, South Sydney Rabbitohs 26. Close one there.
Talk about surprise packages really in the one-off game. Anything can happen. The Dragons would have wanted to win this one. Widdop had a try assist, so he did his bit. But the Burgess boys all did their bits too. Tom Burgess, 140 metres, Sam Burgess, 177 metres, and George Burgess, 96 metres.
Okay, North Queensland Cowboys beaten at home 8 points to 26 by the Melbourne Storm. Newcastle Knights, 26 points to 10 winners over the New Zealand Warriors. The Gold Coast Titans went down at home in a crushing defeat, 54 points to 0 as they hosted the Brisbane Broncos.
Yeah, Joe Greenwood played, although that might be an over-exaggeration.
Any of the Titans was on the field.
Yeah.
My Sharkies went down 12 points to 30 against the Canberra Raiders.
Yeah, Hodgson was imperious in this one. He got up to try and a try assist, and probably had his most effective attacking game of the season. It seemed like the Sharks were going to run away with it early because their forwards in the first 10 minutes or so were very, very physical and dominant, and the Raiders have not been able to match up to people this year. But actually, the Raiders really turned it around. Hodgson was a big factor in that. Elliot Whitehead, with his 169 metres and great offload in the build-up to the Hodgson try as well, was another big factor in that. And the Raiders spent a period of time in the second half with a man down. I think it was... what's his name? The Aussie Papali.
Josh Papali.
In the bin. But Whitehead was massive covering sort of up for him in that space time. Whitehead played a lot of the game as a middle unit forward, a loose forward, but did start and end the game on the right edge and played that 10 minutes on the left edge second row. I thought he was a big part of it, but it was one of the most dominant 10-minute periods being down a man against a high-calibre team that I've ever seen produced.
Right.
In terms of what the Raiders were able to do. They were absolutely dominant from about 25 minutes onwards, and Hodgson and Whitehead were massive parts in that, so great stuff for England.
Good on them. Manly Sea Eagles were 36 points to 18 winners over the Sydney Roosters, and the Penrith Panthers defeated West Tigers 28 points to 14.
Yeah, so the Storm open up a 4-point gap at the top now on 36 points from the Roosters on 32. Broncos, Sharks and Eels are all on 30. Cowboys are 6th and Seagulls are 7th, both on 28. The Panthers move up into 8th on 26 points ahead of the Dragons on 24 and the resurgent Raiders on 22. With only 4 games left until the finals, everyone else is effectively out of it.
There you go. One other note to bring you, it was the Scottish Rugby League Grand Final this weekend. Edinburgh Eagles defeated 30 points to 32 by the new champions Strathmore Silverbacks.
And yeah, that gives them a place, an entry into round 1 of next year's Challenge Cup.
There you go.
From the reviews of the game, it seems like it was a little bit back and forth, but then Strathmore were able to sort of pull out to a bit of a lead, and the Eagles couldn't quite just scrape back into it in the end, unfortunately. Yeah. But it sounds like an entertaining game that was enjoyed up there at Edinburgh University.
Bravo, congratulations to the Strathmore Silverbacks. Okay. That's the world of rugby league well and truly covered for this week. Let's look into the future now as we bring you our predictions for the Super 8s and the qualifiers. So, to round 2 of the Super 8s, Mark. We'll start with the Super 8s. Thursday night, Wakefield take on Leeds in a West Yorkshire derby down at Bellevue. Is there a way for Wakey to win this one?
I'm struggling to see it.
Yeah, I am as well.
After watching Leeds in that second half last week and thinking all they've got to go for is this sort of home semi-final and Super League Grand Final spot, and to wave off Burrow and Maguire. I know Burrow's back in the side, but I don't think that changes things much because Parcell will play for an hour when at that point they'll have won it, and then they might change it up. I just think Leeds have shown me too much last week.
Yeah.
And last time they were beaten was by a dominant Hull side.